Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Book Club. Today, we will be discussing A Christmas Carol, chapters 3 and 4. Why do I hear an echo?
Russ, I think you have to put your earbuds in.
It's not me.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay. It doesn't matter. Out. I'm being invaded all over the place. Okay. What a great start. I want to thank this amazing channel that we have here. We're short of a couple people, but we've been rocking this anyhow. So we got over to my left, your right, Russ Stapleton from What in the World with Russ. Down below, we got Tracy Glenn, Ghost of Christmas Cookie Present.
That's right, the Ghost of Christmas Cookie Present.
And yeah, we're going to have a good discussion today. I'm really excited about this. Chapter 4, I think, might be my favorite chapter. And I've never really thought about it watching the movies, which scene was my favorite, but definitely this book so far, chapter 4 is my favorite. So I can't wait to get into that. So
the one about death?
Yeah, go figure.
Go figure?
Yeah.
About death? Death was your favorite chapter?
Yeah. And we'll get to that after. We'll get to it.
I know.
Because it made me think a lot. Hey, okay, so I got to get the chat because I was about to welcome Lisa in before I started at the top. Real quick, before we get into discussion, Monarch Moments, Garrett, who will be jumping back later, something about he's got a job and has to work. I mean, forget that. Francisco, welcome in. Russ, who's also with me. Tina McNeil. Sorry we were late, guys. I had a little bit of technical difficulties. And,
there was no technical difficulties. Someone forgot that there was a book club going on. and someone got a message saying, hey, anybody else coming on? And then I had to get out of my chair, which, I was about to go take a nap because I'm a napper.
There's no napping in book club. I don't think
there's no napping in book club. By the way, that was me. Blame me, Tracy Glenn, the Ghost of Christmas Present, Cookie Present.
Trying to cover your tracks.
No. I'm fine with admitting that I'm an idiot at times. And if you ask my wife, she'll tell you that I'm an idiot all the time. But
the first step to solving a problem is admitting that you have.
But the problem is I've admitted it for years. It's not like it's getting better.
This is true. This is quite true.
Poor woman has to put up with me all the time. Could you imagine?
I have one of my own. Yes, I can. And on to the chat. Tina McNeil, DCS. How are you, my friend? My neighbor, Annie Coog. I love how Kelly from the Mickey Bunch addresses her. It calls her Cougar and goes, Rah. It's the cutest thing. Lisa from It's Joey's World. Mike Wheeler. There goes my voice. Mike Wheeler, welcome in. Oh, you came home just in time. Lovable, wonderful husband. Jeffrey Resendez, welcome in. And we're going to have ourselves a discussion as soon as my family leaves my room. All right, guys.
They want to hang out. They want to talk about death.
They're looking for more snacks.
Snacks. I'm down with snacks. Is that a fruit roll-up?
No, you missed go back and watch my unboxing from earlier.
She has a bunch of Japanese candy.
Yeah, well, I did.
And it was funny listening to her try to pronounce the names with her Bostonese Japanese.
Yeah, it was great. It was fun. I enjoyed it. Jeffrey Resendez, welcome in. I don't even know if I said that. I think I did, but just in case. Here we go. All right. Chapters 3 and 4, A Christmas Story.
Christmas Carol?
Yeah. Why do I keep doing that?
Because it is a Christmas story.
Yeah.
It is,
but it's also a Christmas Carol.
But not that Christmas story. Yes.
Yeah. All right, guys. So, chapter 3, let's get into it. Hot, cold, fast.
This is my favorite chapter.
Really? Okay, do tell. So
come here and know me better, man.
Yeah,
I do
mean,
love that ghost.
this is the chapter that basically the spirit is coming and taking him around, and they are spreading the joy of Christmas. They're spreading the Christmas spirit. That's what he is. And yeah, I mean, I think it's a great. Again, we're going back to the Muppets Christmas Carol because that's what I know.
Mm-hmm.
I told you guys before we started that, you know, as I was reading this, I was singing the song from, you know, It Feels Like Christmas, and you know, yes, there are some sad parts in it, but again, it's getting over those things, and Scrooge he starts to feel a little, you know, more. He feels he's feeling that Christmas spirit, and he's understanding a little bit what Christmas is all about.
And I never got that from the movies.
Well, you got to remember, it's not just the Christmas spirit. He's finally learning how to care for other people.
Yeah.
So
right. And that's part of it. Is he's you know, he's seeing his family. He's seeing his employer, you know, or employees, and you know, and those that are all around London who are dealing with the cold and being poor and having to, you know, not having anything, but yet they're still celebrating Christmas. And he's, you know, he's the richest person in town, and yet he's miserable, you know. So,
but when I was reading this, and what you don't get from the movies is it's not just London. He takes him out to sea. He takes him out to these fishermen. He's taking them out to everywhere, and he's taken. I think he's even taken him to foreign lands to show him that he, as a Christmas spirit, not just deals with just the local. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, and when I'm reading this, he goes to foreign lands. He probably hits the States. He probably hits Mexico. He takes him across the world to show that he dabs a little Christmas spirit on everybody. Now, me personally, Christmas spirit has a little bit of alcohol in it, but
has a little what?
Alcohol?
Me?
No, me.
Oh. I was like, wait, I'm drinking iced tea.
He's talking about that. That's his Christmas spirit.
That's my Christmas spirit.
Okay. Carry on. My computer also glitched, so I'm all messed up right now.
Oh, okay.
Continue.
No, I like that, you know, this, because this, you know, this spirit he reminds me of Santa Claus, basically. And that's, you know, he's that jovial, you know, happy all the time. And, you know, of course they describe him as a giant, basically. But he can change size to fit whatever part of the world he goes to, or wherever, you know, whatever door he has to go in, or whatever. He can do that. But yeah, he's wearing this green robe. He's basically and that's basically it.
Wait, really?
Yeah, he's got this like green Santa Claus robe type thing. That's the way they describe it, with like white fringe on it.
Okay, well, I never occurred to me that he might not be wearing anything underneath.
Well, I mean, he's covered, but I mean,
come on, Tina, you had to go there.
Humbug!
I thought that's what Rock was saying.
Tina, humbug!
I can't with you two. I can't.
That's why you have to bring a fourth person in to balance this out. We're bad.
But then he's also wearing like a holly like crown, and he's got a torch, and the torch is kind of his magic wand. He can sprinkle like the Christmas spirit on things, and that's what he is. He's going around, and he's, you know, whenever, because when they meet people on the street that are either in an argument or something's going wrong, he fixes it, and he, you know, brings their laughter, or he'll you know, make sure that something happens the right way, you know, and that's kind of, I think that's cool. So
real quick, Rock and Robin, aka Glenn, welcome in. And yes, Mike, we did say hello to you. That's okay, no worries. So this chapter is the most confusing for me. Chrissy's looking like, do I have 12 heads? Because the way that the dialogue is about at the beginning of the chapter when he says, do you know my brothers and sisters or something like that or whatever. Right from the get-go, my brain goes, what the heck is he talking about? Even now that I've read the chapter, I'm still confused about the themes about it.
So did you understand what he was talking about? I've had over 1,800 brothers.
No.
The ghost of Christmas present lives for one day.
Yeah.
So who would his 1,800 other brothers be?
All the other ghosts of Christmas
present.
Yeah.
So last year, the ghost of Christmas present was his brother. The last year, the year before that was the ghost of Christmas present was his brother. So every year. So what he asked him is, did you not know my brothers who were the ghost of Christmas present? No, he doesn't, because he doesn't celebrate Christmas. He was never in a Christmas spirit. So he actually, and realistically, there is the contradiction where in the past we did see he actually kind of somewhat liked Christmas.
Yeah.
But then here, you also, this chapter, and here's the thing, looking at it as a cynical point, this is when you're dealing with the ghost of Christmas past, it's showing him how everything went wrong in the world and developed him. In Christmas past, showing his breakup with Belle could have tipped him the other way. You could do the same thing looking at the ghost of Christmas present as turning him cynical against Christmas too, if he chose to go that way. Because think about it. We go to Fred, his nephew Fred's, and they use him as a butt of a joke.
Yeah.
They go to Cratchit's house, and Mrs. Cratchit has no real reason and tells pretty much Cratchit that she doesn't want to toast him. But I think what happens is adding that line afterwards where while they used him as a butt of the joke, they still toasted to him and gave him long health and gave him health. The same thing with Mrs. Cratchit when she decided to say no, and then he was like, well, he is the fan. So I think that's where he could look at it one way, and then just adding that second line or those second lines to saying that even though they never really don't care for him, because at this current point, the miserly old Scrooge, nobody likes, but they still drink to his health because it's Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. I suppose.
What do you mean you suppose? So here's what's funny. Here's another funny story, and just to sidetrack, I go shopping for my parents, and on Sunday, and my father says to me, he goes, "When did you get so smart about books and stuff like that?" I said, "Dad, I read. I mean, I'm a smart individual, believe it or not. Sometimes I do have some knowledge up here. Ask me about Star Wars, I could probably rant for the whole hour and a half, but then you guys wouldn't have anything to talk about. But just reading it and knowing that when you're reading it and seeing it in the movies, and the Ghost of Christmas Present does way more than what you could actually film.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I say. He is Christmas. That's basically he's the embodiment of Christmas and the celebration of that. And so, yeah, I mean, I think I just like that Scrooge likes him as well. You know, it's because even at the beginning, and of course he didn't know him yet, but at the beginning it talks about that he wakes up and he's just ready to go. You know, because he's awaiting the next spirit. You know, because even though it hurt to see his past, he still was learning from it. And so I think that too, you know, he's somewhat looking forward to it, but he's also somewhat apprehensive, you know, and that kind of a thing. So
here's one question that I kept thinking through this entire book thus far. Do we think that there was a definitive turning point for Scrooge? Or do you think it was a slow build up?
Well, I think you see a gradual shift in the last chapter with the Ghost of Christmas Past. knowing how, and I think reading the book and then seeing that, when Belle breaks his heart, pretty much tells him, and then he realizes that he chose money over love. In the book, and what you don't see a lot in the movies, is that next scene where she's had that happy family and he's never had. Mm-hmm. I think he's ready to see what's going to happen for the present. I don't think he realized, how much it will affect him this time around, because when we do get to the next chapter, I think when you're reading it, and again, I love the fact that when you read something, you get the thought process behind the person, where you don't get that in movies. You can't get the same thought process that you can. And I can't wait till we get to the next chapter, because there are some really excellent points that I like to make if I get a chance. But I mean, so here he's ready to take on the Ghost of Christmas Present. He's wants to see what's out there, but I still think he's apprehensive.
Right.
On what's going to happen.
So the clock, something that I might be a little confused about. I feel so stupid with these questions, but the clock rang 12, right?
Because while Scrooge is with the ghost at Christmas past, a day is past. Okay, when he's with the Ghost of Christmas Present, he's going to spend a day with the Christmas present. So he's going to go from midnight of Christmas, not Christmas, to the next midnight of Christmas.
So it's not in real time.
It's in the Spectre time, and that's why when we get to the last chapter of this book, we'll discuss on how it works. So to him, he's spending 3 full days with these ghosts. So in his mind, when he comes out of these ghosts, it would be 3 days past.
Well, and Tina just asked, it does happen all within one night, but to him, it's 3 days. And so time really doesn't matter when he's with the ghosts, basically. And so time really doesn't pass, when he's in his bed, that kind of a thing. So, it's interesting. So time doesn't really move as far as in real time.
Right. Okay. Real quick. Welcome in Rhonda and William, England, Portugal. Good to see you guys. Okay. I lost my train of thought.
No, I was going to go back. I feel like he gets a realization as to, that this is something that I've done. This is something that, this could have been better if I had done this. But I also don't necessarily feel like he's willing to change yet. He sees these things, but yet he's like, okay, well, nothing can really be done about it because it's already this way. This is who I am, that kind of a thing, until the next chapter when he gets that realization that, my future doesn't look too great.
Well, see, and I might want to disagree with you just a little bit on this, Russ. I think by the time we hit that next chapter, he's already decided in his mind and in his life that he's willing to change. Mm-hmm. By the end of Ghost of Christmas Present, seeing and spending the day with the Ghost of Christmas Present, he's willing to make the change and hold Christmas in his heart and take on and better himself for humanity and make the human suffering better. Because once you get it, and once we get into that next chapter, and this is tough, because I love this chapter. I love the next chapter. Mm-hmm. It's just a lot of information. So I can't remember, because I read this last week, and why are you shaking your head?
This is why I read or listen to the chapters the day of in the morning, so it's fresh in my mind.
So he leaves his bedroom. Where's the first place he goes to?
The next. Oh.
Well, he's out in the town.
He's out in the town. It's busy. Yeah. It's bustling. Yeah. And he's talking about how these people, it's Christmas Day. Now, again, here's the contradiction a lot is it's Christmas Day, and there's obviously food markets are still open, because they're talking about the food markets. They're talking about the baker. They're talking about the you know, the people that are preparing food, because I'm assuming at this point in time they would have to be open, so people would pick up their last minute things for dinner at the markets.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, of course, in that time, it wasn't necessarily that everybody, you know, people slept in all day. It was, you know, like we do now. it's kind of, you know, Christmas dinner was the big celebration. You know, you get up, you go to church, because they even talk about that. They go to church in the morning, you know, then they come home and it's, you know, dinner's, you know, being prepared, and then they sit down for their Christmas dinner. And so, yeah, everybody's rushing around trying to do those last minute preparations for their celebration. So whatever it is.
There's a bakery scene. Now, is that like the baker's family, or is the people go to the bakery to eat
there's people still picking. I mean,
yeah.
So that's all it is.
Well, yeah. I mean, people are still preparing stuff for other people. It just needs to be open enough for them to get it. So,
okay.
Where the county house closed all day Christmas, right? Because he was. I'm assuming if Scrooge was a baker, he'd be open on Christmas Day because people were still coming in for last minute things for their meal.
Okay.
Where today's day and age, we can buy everything pre-hand and make it that day and not worry about having to, you know, they didn't have freezers. They didn't have refrigerators. They had cold air, you know, so they...
No, and well, Rhonda just asked if they have electricity, and they did not. So
no, I mean, because even if when you're reading the book, the lamplighters are still lighting the lamps, you know?
Not the rat. Light the lamp, not
correct.
The rat.
I mean, the lamplighters go out. And, so at this point in time, you know, that was a job that was taken away by electricity. There was lamplighters. They would go through and they would light the street lamps down the street. So there would be light during the night in the cities.
Yeah. And I love the descriptions. Okay, so first of all, if you have not, and I had to listen to the audiobook this morning because I have 3 kids and I had to do things around the house, and so I had to listen. But I loved the descriptiveness of just the way that the narrator just describes things. But you have not lived until you listen to an audiobook book version narrated by Tim Curry, the best.
Oh, did you got that one?
Oh my gosh! And I think it's right now on Audible, but oh my word! Like, I love Tim Curry, but it was amazing. And so he's taking him through the town. He's taking him through these different, and I don't remember which order it is. I think it's towards the end when he goes to. So after he goes to the Cratchit's house first, right? If I remember.
Yeah, that's the first like real like.
But I do know he spends
place he goes, but
I think he goes to Cratchit's house and he watches them eat the whole dinner. Yeah. Where like in the movies we get a snippet.
Yeah.
He watches the whole dinner. And the same thing with Fred's house. He watches them enjoy their meal.
There's a whole lot more dialogue in the book with those settings that you don't get in movies. Which also I think lends to a better perspective. But one of my favorite things was when the transition from Cratchit's house to Fred's house, he goes over, passes a lighthouse, which I love lighthouses, and he passes to the ships, and he's watching the people on the ships and everything, and you're getting a really good perspective of what Scrooge is seeing, you know, the perspective through his eyes, you know, the things that Ghost of Christmas Presents taking him through. And so I really enjoyed that. So yeah, do we want to move on to when he gets to Fred's house and the dialogue there?
Well, yeah.
I want to stay at Cratchit's house because there's a lot of things we didn't touch on.
All right, go ahead.
First off, welcome in Dougie and welcome in Carol. Because this is the first time we meet Tiny Tim.
Yes,
that is correct.
And it's the first time we hear the name Bob Cratchit.
Well, true, yeah. It's the first time we hear his name and meet his family and all of his kids and you know, and they're all dealing with their own things. And you know, you got Peter who's coming of age and is about ready to move out on his own, and Martha who has been working as an apprentice was let to come home for late from work, and so they all have their lives, and you get introduced to them, but then you have Bob and Tim coming home from church, and you see Tiny Tim's attitude. It's even though he's small or is sickly, that he's still, God bless us everyone. That's the most famous line probably in the book, in my opinion. But,
the other line I really love is when he says, and Bob is telling his wife that Tim says, "I hope that the people look at me and they see me crippled, so that they're reminded of who heals lame beggars and cripples and whatnot and stuff." And
right. It makes blind men see. Yeah.
It makes blind men see. Yes. Yeah. So I really appreciate that scene.
I also like the fact that when Scrooge, and we see it almost in all the movies, when Scrooge goes to Christmas present, what does to become of Tiny Tim? And he says, I see an empty stool sitting in a corner.
Yeah.
And then, the retort, if they're going to die, let them die. Let's decrease that surplus population.
Right.
It pretty much throws
his words at him.
The words right back at him. Pretty much slams him.
And it says, that burns him. That's like, that killed him to hear his own words thrown back at him, seeing the circumstance that he's portraying, that he's seeing right now. But, yeah. So, all right. Are we done with what?
And then we go to Fred's house, and then he watches the games, and he watches the courtship of, his niece and Peter's friend. They're courting each other, even though they're playing around. They and she acts a little offensive about it, but realistically they're just courting each other. And then we see this come back in the next in the future of the movies. And I mean, we don't see a lot of the other stuff that goes around. Most of the times when we're watching the movies, we get pretty much the guessing game in Fred's house, which again, he spends a lot more time. They play a lot more games. And here in the book, Scrooge loses himself in the games that they're playing, not realizing that he's still just a specter and just watching visions of the future, of the present.
Yeah. Can we?
Well,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, I love Fred's attitude, towards Scrooge, that, even though Scrooge keeps saying no, he keeps saying, well, I'm going to keep asking every year. I'm not going to give up on him.
Yeah.
And, no matter what. And even in the next chapter, that comes out too, that, he's not going to give up on him. He's going to keep trying. And he thinks that this year he might have, pushed him a little further, to where, something might happen, that kind of a thing. But,
welcome in, Cody.
Hey, Cody. But yeah, they've got the music, and they're singing, they're playing the games, and having fun, and
something that they don't show in, I think, any of the versions that I've
You mean
seen.
the Blind Man? The Blind Man game?
Well, that's what Tracy
the courtship.
Was that's the courtship thing.
I never laughed so hard in my life when he's like the chubby sister, and he gets her in a corner, and then I was like, yeah, you got to read that book, that part of the book, because
Humbug.
Holy cow! We'll just leave it at that. But
it does get a little warm in there, doesn't it?
That was great, though. I really enjoyed that. So,
yeah, I mean, they play yes and no, and they're basically making fun of Scrooge.
And then he realizes that the yes and no, the unwanted person, it's a man,
But in the book version, he seems to not care as much as he does in some of the films. Like to me, he doesn't care as much because he's just, it's all in good fun. And
I also think that at this point in time, again, if he hadn't had started some of the change already, he would have taken that cynical view of this.
Mm-hmm.
Once they say this at Fred's house and this Fred's party, he realizes that he is an unwanted beast,
Mm-hmm.
right? So he's now realizing that what they are saying is true about him. And so when we get to this next chapter, and whenever we decide to get there, we'll get there.
We're almost there.
Yeah.
We're getting there. I know.
And then outside, they're walking away, and then he turns to the ghost of Christmas Present, and who is actually getting gray. He's getting to the end of his age, and then he asks him, "Do you grow older?" Just like in the movies, we've seen it, especially in a Muppet Christmas Carol. He says he lives for one day, and he leaves him outside the courtyard of a church.
Mm-hmm. And this is where, this is the scene that I've not ever seen before, when the two children appear.
I have seen this
once.
Yeah.
Right, I have seen this. This has been in some movies, not a lot of movies, but it has been in the movies. The first time I ever seen this, I actually went and seen a play of the Christmas Carol up in Albany. We went to the Palace Theater, and it was just me and my wife. And I think it was the guy who played Gomez from the Addams Family back in the day. He was the lead. He played Scrooge in this play. We've gone back a couple times after that. It was like, I think Wilford Brimley played it one year. And this was the first time I actually seen the two kids that come out who are gnawing at the needs and want.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been in the other Disney version with Jim Carrey, the cartoon one, and it's been in the one with George C. Scott. I've seen it. But when I saw
I forgot about the Jim Carrey one. I just tried to forget about that one. So.
A lot of people try to forget about that one.
Am I the only one that likes that one? I don't mind it. I actually really like it. I love the animation of it, and Scrooge is really creepy, but I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah. All right, where are we?
I mean, it basically just takes a complete turn from what we've been taught. It's all of a sudden, okay, well, Christmas, is this great and all this, but then now that Christmas is going away, now you think about the kids who have nothing and who are,
is it wanton ignorance?
or those that are
I think it's wanton ignorance.
And, they're ignorant of Christmas and they still want things, from Christmas because they didn't receive it, or or it was taken away from them, or they never knew it, and which is Scrooge's category, that kind of a thing. And so it kind of gives him a visual of what he really is. He is one of these kids, basically, that because he's never wanted Christmas, which then leads into the next chapter, which is the Phantom and the death.
Well, the Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come, or Ghost of Christmas Future, is the whole, this is description is the Grim Reaper, pretty much straight out of it. Dark hood, hardly, you never see his face, and he never speaks. He just points. So at this point in time, and we've seen it in the movies and even reading it, Scrooge tells this ghost or this specter, "You are the one I fear the most." Because here he is, what is to come, But what I found with reading this chapter is, the first thing we see is I think in this chapter is the deathbed. He doesn't actually look at who's dead, who's passed away. He doesn't want to know who's passed away. I think in the back of his mind he knows, but he doesn't want to, because when they start going out and around town, right, he's looking for himself. He in his mind has already made some of the change. He thinks to himself, I'm going to see the future Ebenezer Scrooge interacting with these people on Christmas Day, because he's already kind of made that choice in his mind to say, I'm ready to change. But
like
I
that.
guess the way we have to look at it is they're looking at the Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come if he's never made that change.
Yeah. That's a really good perspective. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, the two, you know, this whole chapter, he's afraid.
He is afraid, but he's also hopeful in the back
Yeah.
of his mind to see himself. And I think that's why when he's walking around, and if you notice in reading this, he doesn't actually, the Ghost of Christmas Present or the Ghost of Christmas Future doesn't drag him around. He pretty much points. Ebenezer Scrooge walking around all of London and just going to look in here. He's looking at his counting house. He goes to his counting house and sees it's not his counting house no more. You know?
Yeah.
And he's also looking for himself.
Yeah. Well, and he, of course, he comes across the merchants and the businessmen there that they're talking about the funeral and nobody wants to go.
If they serve lunch, I'll go.
Yeah, if they serve lunch, I'll go. Which again, I was thinking of the pigs in the Muppet version.
Right. That's right. I forgot those pigs.
Yeah. And then they end up in the slums with old Joe and the servants who are basically coming in with his stuff and pawning it off.
Right. And it's interesting because you get that picture, you get the picture of that in the movies, but in the book it's a little bit more clear, I think. Oh, the Muppet one, it was pretty clear what was going on. I've been
old Joe is the spider, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, and old Joe is if so. The way I look at it is if we ever get around to Oliver Twist, you know, he goes and he runs away. He joins the pickpocket group, and he's got the mentor thief. So old Joe would be the mentor thief of this group.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these three have moved on from pickpocketing and thieving. And really, Tina, do you have to keep myself as a cookie up there? So
it's the ghost of Cookie Present. Oh man. But no, I mean this scene again too. It's, you know, Scrooge is like, he's disgusted by what he sees, and it's like
he doesn't go into this area.
Yeah, exactly. And well, he's disgusted by the fact that these people are doing what they're doing, which, you know, if you think about it, he's been doing the same, you know, to other people all his life,
and on a legit basis. To him, the way he does it, it's legit. Lends money out. They don't pay, I take it away. You know, he knows. You know, he's probably like that used car dealer who gives you a fantastic loan at high interest rate with no credit, knowing that he's going to turn around, take that car back, and turn around and sell it again for the same price that he sold it for the first three times. You know, I mean, and, you know, old Joe, and then they're talking to you. They've got I forget what they were going to bury him in. What was this? His suit, right, or his bedclothes, or one of the two that he was.
Well, first off, you have the Undertaker's assistant, who's basically taken all of the valuables off of the body before they're going to bury him, and then you have the servant with, like, she's got, like, I don't know, some of his, just the things from around either his office or his house. I'm not sure.
I think it was his house, because I mean, at this point in time, I think he had already retired.
Right.
As far, because if this is the same year that they're looking at, you know, his counting house is no longer his counting house. So who knows how long in the future? Did he retire? Did he sell the counting house? Was he working from home now?
Right.
Some of that just doesn't congeal. But
of course, then you have the third lady who basically has gone in while the body is still there and possibly still warm, and has taken
the bed curtains,
bed sheets, the bed curtains, the sheets, and the clothes off of him. And it's insane. So, welcome in, Tim. Don't worry about it, man. We hope you have your surgery goes well. So keep him in your prayers.
I think even before we get to Joe, Scrooge says, "Could you take me to somebody who was happy?" Because they just leave the businessman who says the only reason they would go is if they were to eat lunch.
Yeah.
So he asks the Ghost of Christmas Present Future says, "Take me to somebody who's actually going to miss."
Yeah. Who cares about
that person, right? Then he takes him to the couple who have pretty much can't pay their mortgage because they've spent it on gifts or Christmas tidings.
Right.
And they're happy for the fact that they don't have to pay it because they don't know who would, by the time it comes down to who now controls Scrooge's business and controls Scrooge's assets and whatever debts he has outstanding.
Right.
They have a month and a half to be clear to gain that money so they could pay for their mortgage.
And the fact that they don't have to deal with Scrooge now, and because
correct,
he was the worst of them to deal with, and of any of their lenders, and so so they're happy they don't have to deal with that now.
I just wonder what kind of rates was Scrooge given? Everybody was going to him.
I don't know. I mean, of course, too, you got to think that, London, if you weren't a business owner, you were poor. If you didn't, and so that was a thing. There were a lot of people that worked in those poorhouses, and a lot of people who were just lost, who could not get out of debt, similar to now, and just things like that no one would help them, and so they would go to these moneylenders. And the moneylenders would take advantage of that. And so, I'm sure that Scrooge did that. That was his business practice. That's the way he and Marley set up, because it was money that they could get and steal from whoever.
they were the Visa or MasterCard of their day.
But
Tina.
I mean,
What do you got to say, Tina?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I was just thinking, because they call it accounting house back then.
Mm-hmm.
So what would that be equated? Is that like a bank in our day?
Or a private mortgage company?
I was going to say, I would say more like a mortgage type company or a money lender,
Right.
or in Scrooge's case, kind of more like a bookie. I mean, because
no, not a bookie. A bookie takes bets.
I know I'm saying that, but just the way that he conducted his business.
Yeah.
What he technically would be is a loan shark.
Yeah, a loan shark. Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a couple grand.
Sorry, I'm not from New York. I don't know these terms.
And on that
note.
Oh gosh,
I've never met a loan shark or had to go to a loan shark, but they charge a loan shark would charge a hugely outrageous fig, which is percentage. So, you do know that there's a couple people in the chat from New York also.
I know, that's why I said it. I'm just teasing, guys.
Boston. Just making that note.
Well, New England.
Okay, because Boston doesn't have any freaking gangsters. Ever heard of Whitey Ford?
Bulger.
Whitey Bulger? Yeah.
Come on, Trace, get it right.
Whitey Ford was the pitcher for the Yankees. I'm sorry. Yeah, Whitey Bulger. Ever heard of him? Ever watched this movie, The Town? I know you have.
No, I actually haven't.
Oh, yeah, you did. Don't lie.
I haven't seen the movie with Johnny.
Tina knows. She's wearing her prison stripes. She knows.
Yeah. See? Get back in your cage, you little animal.
Oh then I guess the next part is that we go to Cratchit's house, Bob's house, and it's a way different scene from what we saw the last time.
A lot more somber.
A lot more somber because they're grieving the death of Tiny Tim.
And so, Tina also says he was a tenement landlord, so he would be your slumlord also.
Yeah. Then that makes sense too. Yeah, to where because he basically owns the area.
Yeah.
So, well, and even the other businessmen were saying, well,
Tim, we're not mean.
It's because you're not here, Tim.
Just because your wife misreads your legs, we understand.
Tim and Brenda are the calm ones of the group, so they reel us in.
It's true. And Mama. Well, no, Mama's wild like us. Never mind.
Yeah. Mama, who's asking everybody if they like apples. Yeah, she's mild.
And Tim brings out a point too that he rents out his own house. He's doing everything he can to
make money,
to make money and to control other people. So, and I think too he was a control freak. He wanted to lord over everyone. So, yeah.
So, all right, where are we in the book? Because I'm all sorts of distracted.
So we're at Cratchit's house, and Bob comes home from visiting the grave site of Tiny Tim, and the family is basically sitting around the fire and just kind of passing time until Bob comes home, and they're grieving, and this is in contrast to no one's grieving Scrooge,
and everybody's grieving Tiny Tim,
and everyone that there is grieving Tiny Tim, and the way it should be, and so that kind of, I think that gives Scrooge a little bit of perspective there too, but it's also he learns the future of Tiny Tim because no one would help Tiny Tim, and if Scrooge had been changed, he could have provided more for Bob to help care for Tiny Tim, and maybe this wouldn't have happened.
We also get a great story about Bob meeting Fred on the street,
which I love because I had never heard that yet. So
I might have seen it in the past. It might have been in the stage show. I'm not sure, but here Fred sees Bob Cratchit and is nice to him and says how upset he is that he had lost a child, and how he was a total opposite of what Scrooge would ever consider.
Yeah.
He also comes in the house. He goes upstairs, composes himself to come back down to the family, where what we see in the movies.
Well, he goes up to where Tiny Tim is because he's still in the house. They haven't buried him yet. He's still up in his room, and they've got the room all decorated for Christmas. So he's going up to because he kisses his forehead and then goes back down. So
that part got me because you don't get that in the movies.
Right.
You don't get that. And when I read that, I was like I got distracted for a second, but I tuned into the part where it said he kisses his forehead, and then I was like, wait, what? And rewound it and listened to it. And I was like,
because it's just happened. Okay. He's still there. There, and again, that at that time they would leave the body until they could, they didn't have funeral homes and things like that. It was, you grieve and you watched over the body until it was time to bury it. So and this, again, in contrast to what Scrooge is laying there by himself, in his own bed, and he's been stripped naked and nobody cares.
Correct.
Not only is he stripped naked. Oh no! Wait, that's what you mean. They take his possessions. Okay, Tina.
Yeah.
He's not literally naked. Oh my gosh.
Well, he could be. Who knows?
I don't want to know. I don't things I don't need to know. That's one of them. Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, I mean, and
Tim Pruitt says the Jim Carrey Disney version actually includes that.
oh, okay. Yeah, I guess I need to watch that again, but I mean,
I think I have to watch that too.
It's not one of my favorites, but I mean, we can maybe discuss that when we do our movie thing.
And Tina McNeil says that's where the phrase "wait" comes from. They would wait and to see if this person would wake up.
Exactly. Yeah. So.
Oh, that's creepy.
And Tim, you're not Tiny Tim. We don't want you dead. So.
Right?
I know what you mean. You were just making a joke, but
so
yeah,
then,
I mean it.
And then he takes him to the graveyard scene. You know, there's a couple things, but then we get to the graveyard scene where Ebenezer Scrooge has an idea, and you know well, actually, before we get to the graveyard scene, Ebenezer Scrooge says to the ghost of Christmas Future, "Where am I?" He's looking for himself. He's asking, "Where am I?" And he's pointing in one direction, but it's not the direction of Scrooge's home that he knows of. Here's the ghost of Christmas Future pointing to a graveyard. They finally get there, and that's when he says, you know, he gives that whole spiel. I will keep Ghost of Christmas Past, Present, and Future in my heart, and I vow to change. And he asks the biggest question: are these the things that have yet to come? Can these visions be changed? Can I change them? Which leads to the great and final the end chapter.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's basically he's begging and pleading and repenting.
Correct. I mean,
so
in Mickey's Christmas Carol, this is Big Pete with a big cigar, laughing at him, pushing him, you know, into the grave. This is, you know, there's a couple others ones where Scrooge actually falls into the open grave. There's some where he's actually taking and moving his hand across the headstone and moving the moss and the overgrownness of this, because nobody cares to take care of this grave. They let it go. It's full of weeds. It's full of moss. It's full of crud. And that's where I say there might be a little bit of time lapse, because obviously this, you know, in the beginning of the day, Scrooge is dead in his bed. By the time we get to the night, here we have a grave that's overgrown and not cared for. So,
yeah. There's this is, like I said, it's my favorite chapter, although I really enjoy the third one too. And because, you know, it really made me think. Scrooge probably never really thought about how what he's doing right in the present is going to affect his future. He was too busy storing up treasures on earth and failed to store up treasures where it really mattered. And that kind of got me, because it really made me think, you know, what am I doing right now that's going to affect my future or my family's future? You know, you don't always stop and think about things like that. So I really enjoyed that. Hey, Rob Fuzz, welcome in.
Hey, Rob.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, you know, do people live on forever? No. But do they live on people's memories forever? If you technically have made an impact on somebody should remember you. Will Scrooge be remembered? Yeah, but as a tight-fisted, hard-nosed grindstone, and they're not going to care anything more of it. No one's going to mourn his loss in the future. We're still talking about Charles Dickens. Charles Dickens lived how long ago? You know, is Charles Dickens living on forever? Yeah, because he left something behind that's his. You know, so
yeah. All right, guys. I think it's safe to say that we can wrap up these two chapters and wrap up the show and send everyone over to Carlos, who I believe is live at 4:00. Next week we are going to. Hey, Michelle. Next week, see my chest behind because I didn't bring up the pop-out chat again. Next week we'll do the last chapter, and I was thinking maybe we could watch a couple of versions, maybe ones that we haven't seen before, of the movie, and then discuss which ones we think are the closest to the book, and which ones we like the best. Since it's such a short chapter,
it is a very short chapter.
Yeah.
So at least we'll have more to talk about. So,
Mhm.
Stay tuned for that. If you guys want to watch a couple of the movies, I've never seen Scrooged. I think I may add that one to my list. It's not going to be accurate, but
Not
as
going to be
accurate.
accurate at all, but it's funny.
No, but it's good.
Funny. I'll add it in
Yeah.
there. I'll add it into the
It's
list.
good.
But so yeah, that's what we'll do next week. If you'd like to join us, please feel free.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind the help.
I'll come with your
Yeah.
favorite one.
If somebody actually wants to come on and balance me and Russ out for Tina, just message her on Instagram. She would love to be able to be able to have somebody else to not make her laugh so much.
Yeah, because I hate to laugh and all. All right, guys, what do you have coming
or
up?
just to shut me up. I don't know. I talk too much.
Russ, what do you?
I've got a lot actually. I've got tonight. I'm going to be on with Dawn of Hitchhiking Bones. I'm covering for Will and Jillian because today's Jillian's birthday, so I think they're doing something for that, and so I'm going to be on with her tonight. I'm not sure exactly what we're talking about, but I think it's something Christmas. And tomorrow at noon, I've got a premiere of my video from when I went to Epcot with Carlos and Jeff and Ange, and that's a lot of fun. So you can come hang out and check that out. I think Thursday I'm on with, or we haven't talked about it, but I think Tracy's doing something special, and I might be on for that. I'll let him talk about that. And then on Saturday, I will be going live from Animal Kingdom at 3 p.m. So should be a lot of fun. And then Nerd Talk will be on my channel on Sunday at 3 o'clock for Mandalorian.
Yep.
And then also Sunday evening is the Pixar Awards on Pete's channel. So
Pixar.
Lots
Awards.
coming up, guys. It's yes, I am a busy man this week, Rob. On top of trying to apply for jobs and do other things. So I'm very busy this week. So
all right, Trace.
So I'm going to be a guest for Tina tomorrow at Wednesday, whatever it is. We're going to talk about some. I'll let her explain her stream tomorrow. And then on Thursday, I'm going to make gingerbread cookies. I'm going to start off with making the dough, rolling the dough, cutting the dough, and then cooking and decorating gingerbread cookies all in 1 hour, which means I'm going to do a lot of prep work in the morning. I'm going to probably roll dough, bake cookies, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be like a straight up cooking segment on the Today Show where hopefully, it doesn't go crazy bad, but gingerbread cookies. So I'm going to run this whole Ghost of Christmas Future, cookie present. But yes, we're going to do gingerbread cookies. There's a good chance I might sing. Who knows? Do you know the Muffin Man? The Muffin Man. The Muffin Man.
that's not a Christmas song.
That's what Gingy sings.
I know.
And then, but this Friday,
pizza Friday night.
yeah, this Friday is not pizza night, so we won't be doing pizza this Friday. It'll be next week, but we get to pizza. So, and then Nerd Talk on Sunday, talking about the Mandalorian, and good cliffhanger. Can't wait to get to it.
Yeah,
Bubba Fett will be on. That's right, I said it. Dad bod Bubba.
Wait, what? Who's got a dad bod? Wait, what? Whoa.
What?
What did I just miss?
What? You haven't watched the episode, Tina. We know already.
Oh, dang it. Okay.
Did you see what Tim said? Tracy,
that surgery day will make me one with two good legs. Yeah. Then I'll mail it to Tim, and Brenda's gonna snap him right in front of him.
Oh my gosh. Oh my god.
But yeah, that's what we got planned.
Can't make this stuff up. All right, tomorrow, Wednesday, whatever, I can't even talk. Wednesday, whatever it is, 5 p.m. We're gonna be talking our favorite Christmas songs that are uncommon, stuff that you don't typically hear on the radio. And yes, they do have Tracy on, and I have yet to ask Russ. That's why he did not put it in his list of places he will be.
Right.
So hopefully.
I don't know if I want to do it now.
Sorry. I was also going to ask Kenzie too. So we'll see what happens.
Kenzie, she's always busy.
Yeah, but she loves me, so she makes time.
Yeah, she doesn't come on with me no more.
Especially if you're singing.
She loves me. My problem is Thursday she's got class at 4:30, so I kind of get pushed aside for schooling, which I'm 100% behind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. And then
and just plugging her, she's doing Vlogmas every Monday and Friday through the month of December. So check out Kenzie Days with Vlogmas.
Yeah. And they're really good too. I'm enjoying them. I'm enjoying everyone's Vlogmases. I have to catch up on so many, but I'm really enjoying a lot of them. Thursday, I will be, I think, on with Tracy because he asked me, and I'm gonna. Okay, good. And that is tomorrow night, 10 o'clock. I'll be on with Danny Griswold Family Vacation as well. So I think I got everything. And then Sunday night. What time is Pete's stream on? Is it on?
7 o'clock. 7 o'clock on. Is it 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock? I think
I'm pretty sure it's 7.
Yeah,
pretty sure it's 7.
And that's really exciting. That's going to be amazing. I cannot wait for that. To see how many of my amazing friends have gotten an award. I love it. So tune in to all the streams. Carlos is live now. Like I said, Disney World Freak.
Yeah.
Go and check him out.
He's going to recap his trip today, I think. So
that's going to be exciting. So everyone, hop on over to Carlos. If I can find a link, I would post it unless someone else gets to it. There it is, right there. And I think he's with. Do you have it?
I got it.
Okay. He's on with the Great Mako, who I was on last night on the Live Places channel, talking
which
about.
You need to go back and watch it, guys, because that's a great show.
Yeah, it was really good.
Especially
really good.
If you're a moderator or a creator.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow. Stay amazing. I was gonna say stay beautiful. That's Dougie's line. I can't stand that. Know that you are loved. Know that
stay frosty.
Know that you're appreciated. Thanks for being here, guys. We appreciate you. Bye.
Bye, guys.
See what are you?